Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Chris Gregory. I am an event director for MECA. I am also a MECA competitor, world champion, and a proud dad of a MECA kid. What this video is we're going over some of the rules and what you can and can't do with MECA kids. To give everyone just a brief overview, MECA Kids was started a couple of years ago. A competitor in Indiana actually kind of wanted to do something. He'd seen some other organizations using Power Wheels. Their formats were okay, but they were more or less what would be called port wars, and it really wasn't a lot of fun. I think it was more the adults doing it than anything. So we wanted to come out with a format to where it was based around music, because children don't want to burp test tones. I mean, they like music, they like listening to music. And we wanted to make it fun. We wanted to make it competitive so that it taught competitors and kids, the art of fair play, to have a good time, and also give them something to do while their parents are coming to car shows and they're left sitting around playing Xboxes or PlayStation 2s or 3s or whatever they have in the parents' vehicle, or an iPhone. So the basis of this is I've had a lot of people emailing Steve Stern, and then Steve Stern emails me and says, hey, is this legal? Is this not legal? So what I'm basically going to is, we have a MECA Kids 2. It is my son's vehicle. And we're going to go over a brief overview of all the points that makes it legal, and kind of go over a few points of what things that would make it illegal for the kids. The rules are very simple, and they're posted in the MECA rule book. A lot of people don't ever see them because it's like the second to last page of the rule book. But they are there, and they're pretty well defined. So, but basically I just want to make this video because I've had a lot of people asking. You'll have to excuse the unprofessionalism of the editing or anything. I'm doing this by myself, so nobody's holding the camera. All I've got is a tripod. But we're going to go over a few basic things. First of all, what I'd like to go over is just a basic overview of the vehicle. As you can tell, more or less, nothing has been majorly modified except for, of course, the big enclosure on the back. Nothing has been cut on the body. Nothing's been pretty much removed from the body. We have made exceptions in certain cases where people find vehicles that, these things, a lot of people don't have a lot of money to go through and buy, big expensive product on this. So what we made MECA Kids for was, people find these in barns. My friend Chris has found many on the side of the road due to his profession, and it just kind of works out. So for MECA Kids, any size subwoofer is available. This one, of course, has a 15 on it. Any MECA Kids 1 or 2 are allowed one subwoofer of any size. So that really doesn't hold anything. If you'll notice, the mids and highs, the 6.5s in the windshield, 5 1/4s in the side, tweeters right there. Basically, all MECA Kids rides must have some form of mids and highs that must be mounted on the vehicle, and they must be able to be heard while it's being played, just to prove that music is being played. So this one's also equipped with a lot of strobe lights and everything. I'm going to go ahead and raise the hood. Kind of more or less take it off. Now, MECA Kids rides are allowed to have a 12-volt battery only. And now the only reason why a vehicle would not have a single 12-volt is if the vehicle, some of these Power Wheels are equipped to run on 24-volt systems, and they have to be able to be driven to show that. So they have to have a 24-volt battery. So a lot of those get left with that, and then someone will add a 12-volt battery to run the system. Remember, the battery must stay in the confines of the vehicle, which are determined in the rule book. And basically, the confines of the MECA Kids 1 is more or less everything has to stay within the contents of the body. So basically, from bumper to bumper, from side to side on the body. For the MECA Kids 2, they are allowed to go from wheel to wheel and bumper to bumper. So basically, if you have any questions about that, just picture a plexiglass box sitting over top of your Power Wheels. The sides would slide down right beside the tires and right on the side of the bumper. And it would be no taller Then for the MECA Kids 2, 20 inches from the top, which will show a measurement. MECA Kids 1 is 16 inches. Just to give a quick idea, batteries are 12 volt only. I got my standard fluke meter here. Now, if I do recall, unfortunately, this one got left on for a little while, the neon, so the battery may be reading a hair low. Up, wrong setting. It's reading 11.92, okay? Your average battery, even floating, should read no more than 13.5 in a 12 volt setup. So, at finals, we have discussed about it, and we are considering checking voltage. So at the batteries, just to make sure. So, but I'm going to pause it here for a second and get set up for another take to kind of give everyone an overview of some of the measurements that can be taken to make sure these things are legal. You'll have to excuse me if my head gets cut off in this, but my tripod can only do so much. What we have here is a 20-inch stick made a set of 1x. I'll be bringing this to finals. From here to here, right, this gap right here is 20 inches. So that way the base can be sat on the tallest portion of the power wheels and then can be spun this way as to see if anything touches. As you can tell, nothing touches. Now, as with MECA SBL, we have determined that anything that is attached to the enclosure is considered part of the enclosure. So if you've got an amplifier that's sitting on top of your enclosure, it is considered part of it. If this piece hits that, then your vehicle is considered illegal for MECA Kids 2. MECA Kids 1 has a 16-inch rule to which we will be measuring from this piece also. Sorry, we'll be making another one at 16 inches to make sure of. This is an 8-inch piece of MDF, and what this is MECA Kids, all MECA Kids classes, all aspects of the enclosure must remain 8 inches from the steering wheel. That includes the subwoofer, of course anything mounted to it, porting, anything of that nature. So how we do this is I cut a piece of 8-inch wood. No modifications can be made to the steering wheel in order to increase this size. This is the easiest way to do it. So, that's the easiest way to determine if your vehicle is legal as far as the enclosure status goes from the steering wheel, and then of course also I showed you the height requirements. Now, on the sides, your enclosure must not come anywhere past the tires in MECA Kids 1. Simple piece of wood. Stand it straight up. Now remember, this also includes anything attached to the enclosure. So, I also have a level that can be used. Now, as far as the rear goes, this one's enclosure is on the rear of the vehicle, as you can tell. The amp rack is. Here's the bumper, standing straight up. Clearance, no issue. The harness that comes out of the back is the only thing that is allowed to possibly come past. And that's the reason, simply put, you may have to attach a set of RCAs. And of course, they're going to come across if you've mounted them in the enclosure. So, Also, and I don't know if it may be hard to see, the white piece down here is my Term Lab sensor placement plate. What this basically is it's designed to where the suction cups will hold. Like I said, sorry for the not perfect editing process goes. For the process to go to actually work, as far as to mount the suction cups to it, so that way, because a lot of times in the enclosures, you've got things falling down. These things are plastic. There's really nothing to mount them to. There's really no way to put a stand inside them. So that's kind of what you have to do in order to hold the sensor in place properly. If you don't have that, that's fine. We'll put the sensor secured as best we can. But if it falls out, there's really no way to. There's no protesting, no nothing when it concerns that, because we kind of gave you a fair warning. So, like I said, this is just a brief overview. I think this should answer any questions concerning it. The biggest thing that we want to try to keep this thing is as fair as possible and as fun as possible. We want to teach kids the art of fair play, the art of fun. We really don't want any protesting, so that's why I'm making this video to where everyone can build something to the rules. Because if you're having to protest for your kid to win, I mean, that could teach fair play, but still, it just takes the fun out of this, and that's really what this was more about, was all about fun. So, I also had a few questions about children operating their Power Wheels, okay? At any time, any MECA judge can first of all ask you to make sure the Power Wheels runs. And of course, for the smaller children, by the rules, the child should be able to jump right in, hit the gear shift, and take off. Okay, for the older kids, that of course is a problem. Some of these bigger kids that we have, these things get to a point where there are weight limits. So what I recommend doing for any competitor is, one second, not only does this piece work really well to measure tire placement versus enclosure, it also works really well to hit the gas. So if you don't externally mount a trigger for your vehicle or drive, which we've done in the past, and your gas pedal still works, then what you'll need to do is take this and basically hit the gas and show that your Power Wheels actually still does motivate forward. Now, I know a lot of these things, people get them and the wiring's all tore up, so we do not require that it go forward and backwards, only forward. So, also, children that run their Power Wheels, as we discussed. For the older groups, which are 6+, by then they should be able to actually control kind of what they're doing. For the younger kids, we recommend installing possibly an LC1 knob or something. We don't want to alleviate the younger kids, but we also don't want basically parents building their kids' Power Wheels and running them because their kid has no interest in it, they just want to do it. So make sure that your child is kind of taught how to do it. For the younger kids, 5 and under, there's a lot more leniency, because they're 5 and under. I mean, you could be like, wow, there's a world champ squirrel. So, it's that easy to distract them. So, we recommend making the controls for the younger kids as simple as possible. Parents can track the track, set the volume on the deck, everything like that, then you just have the kid knob it. So, also, just to reiterate, children, hearing protection at all times. We definitely want to keep our kids safe. We want to teach them safety. That's why we always recommend that an external harness be installed on all Power Wheels to where the child can step back so he doesn't have to hear it and doesn't get too close to him. One other thing I want to bring up, bracing. Okay, a lot of people have asked, can I put Dynamat, fiberglass, yada yada in the body? No, that is a big no-no. The bodies cannot be modified in any way whatsoever to increase SPL. So there's no Dynamat, no rhino lining, you can paint them with spray paint, that's fine. We're even entertaining Plastidip, but as far as Dynamat goes, No, fiberglass can only be installed on the enclosure itself. No aspects of the body may be fiberglass whatsoever. So I hope that answers that question when it concerns body modifications as far as bracing or anything like that goes. Now, bracing as far as people hovering. We really have no rule on that. I think it's more a lot of fun just to watch all these people huddle over. I mean, you just make a laugh about it and everything. But just remember that that is allowed. You can hold parts of the body. You can couple over top of it. Just make sure we're doing it in a safe manner to where nobody gets hurt, and also, as far as cupping it or whatever, it is not legal to take your hands and stick them inside where the sensor is. If you're caught doing that, the run will be disqualified. So please make sure that, you can cup over it and group it, but no actually touching or getting anywhere near the sensor. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Steve Stern at mecacaraudio.com. or email me at preswallstreet, that's PRESWALLSTREET at comcast.net. You can also post anything on Facebook. I would ask that anybody that has any questions concerning MECA Kids, please attach a picture of what you're thinking about doing, whether it be drawn out, whether it be you've already done it or you're thinking about doing it. That way we can verify what's going on and verify if it's legal or not. Once again, I want to thank everyone. MECA Kids is growing. It's huge. We have a lot of fun with it. I definitely recommend as event directors you guys encouraging it because, like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch these kids have a good time. I want to thank everyone again for watching this video, and I hope it was informative and can answer any questions.